I want to do something different with you today. I want to take you on a journey, a new way of thinking that might just change your quality of life for the long term. And it's only going to take a few minutes here. A wise person once said, "Don't live below your means, expand your means." So what does that really mean to you? Hi, I'm Keith Weinhold. This is Get Rich Education. When someone tells you to live below your means, they're usually talking about finances. Just take a look at this. This is a Great Clips coupon for $5 off a haircut. Hey, $5 is actually not too bad. You know, now that I've got this in my hand, it's even possible that I would use it. But, you know, I sure wouldn't be thinking like, well, I'm going to get wealthy because I'm going to turn in enough of these throughout the year. Because here's the question. How much of that would you have to do in order to create wealth? You couldn't. You just couldn't possibly do enough of that to really move the meter or really make a substantial positive financial change in your life. No one shrinks their way to wealth. Now, if live below your means, if that were valid and if that applied so well to finances, wouldn't at least a thread of it then apply to other facets of your life? I mean, can you imagine if this deflating mantra were extrapolated into other parts of people's lives? Take kids, for example. Can you imagine telling them, hey, you know what? I have seen you play quarterback, and you know what? I think you're potentially good enough to make the high school quarterback on your team, but you know what? Don't even try. Don't try so hard. Live below your means, and you know, you should just be satisfied being the mascot or the ball boy. Live below your means. Why try for an A in algebra? You know, you would have to really focus. A grade of C is perfectly sufficient. Live below your means now. So do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And certainly don't ever try to run a marathon in less than 3 hours. Live below your means, it's not prudent advice elsewhere in life. It stifles ambition. It stunts growth. And what it really does is it lowers this ceiling on people's potential. I don't think that it should apply to finances either. Hey, go ahead and put a YouTube like on this video if you would. If you like what you're hearing, if you like different ways of expanding your mindset, I'd really appreciate the like. So to apply this for finances, you know, what do you think is really the better use of a person's time? To wait in line 30 minutes at Chick-fil-A because they're giving away free Chick-fil-A sandwiches? Or instead, using that 30 minutes rather than living below their means that way to maybe expand your means and learn how to get a better credit score so you can get a lower mortgage rate for 30 years on a property. Yes, I guess you could tell me you could wait in line for the Chick-fil-A sandwich for free and score your phone and learn about your credit score at the same time. But one thing's for sure, the other people in the line with you, they're not the expand your means types. You're not going to build your network that way. You know, and I think the live below your means type would say something like, I'm not going to spend $1,000 on a weekend seminar that will teach me how to buy a $10 million apartment building or learn what it takes to build my own crypto exchange. That's just too far-fetched. That's not me. I'm just middle class. I will live below my means. Well, that was an opportunity right there to spend dollars to potentially expand your means and make more of yourself. You know, we talk about real estate and rental property here a lot at GRE. I think there's a difference between self-management and professional property management when it comes to living below your means or expanding your means. I mean, with self-management of property, which you might want to do in the beginning, I did some of that in the beginning myself, but you know, every tenant has your phone number, and once in a while they have a leaky faucet or delaminated flooring, and what's that do to your quality of life? Or instead, at some point, you can expand your means and pay a professional property manager to take those distractions out of your life, improve your quality of life, and maybe that just opens up time for you to not only take your daughter to and pick her up from basketball practice, but actually be the coach at the same time, or volunteer in your community if that means more to you. Maybe that's expanding your means to you, right? So self-managing, at some point as you grow, you need to start asking yourself the question when all these tenants have your phone number, how scalable could I ever make that? That's actually a key question in moving away from living below your means and toward expanding your means. How scalable can you make these things? How much would it move the meter? So why live a life where you really only have the bare essentials of what you need when a life of plenty really is so easily within reach? But that doesn't come naturally to people. As I'm fond of saying, the scarcity mentality is abundant, and the abundance mentality is scarce. If you could transform from one to the other, a growth mindset really begins to get cultivated inside of you. There is nothing wrong with exceeding one's minimum needs. I mean, the truth is sometimes it is some of these unnecessary wants that enhance our quality of lives. Otherwise, where the heck do we draw the line with the scarcity mentality? I mean, when you're done showering and you step out of the shower, isn't it nice to have a little rug to step onto where it's warm for your feet rather than having to step bare onto the cold tile? Hey, couldn't you live below your means and do without that little rug? Or do you need to have the premium NFL viewing package, or isn't it just nice to watch some football from time to time when you want to relax? There's nothing wrong with that. Did you need to go to Maui for 2 weeks last year, or did it enhance your quality of life and you learned how to surf and it gave you some personal fulfillment and you got some irreplaceable memories that you made with your family that you're long going to remember? Hey, go ahead and put a YouTube like on this if you like expansionary thought. I'm not telling you how to think. I'm just asking that you consider looking at things through a new lens and a new thought paradigm, because everyone out there can expand their means from where they're at currently, and that includes me. So thanks for the like. You know, if one lives a scarcity-based life where one is only getting merely the minimum of what they need, then they may very well be living a life below their means. They may be a little fearful of learning something new. One thing's for sure, one cannot clip enough coupons or save enough money on laundry detergent or white grape juice or beef jerky or always making sure to fill up at the inexpensive gas station to create lasting wealth. That doesn't work. So you can only cut so far to the downside, but your upside potential is unlimited. And when you're up in this zone, you've improved your quality of life anyway. I love the saying, being broke is hard, being wealthy is hard. Choose your hard. I mean, you could bicycle to work in the rain to save gasoline money, and maybe you do have to do what you gotta do from time to time, but anyone that thinks that that's a long way to live or sustainable or productive, that's just not expansionary. It's a much better life to learn about expansion. And as I'm fond of saying, a rich person digs for gold, and a poor person is concerned with the cost of a shovel. So rather than focusing time and energy on merely living below your means, you can use those same faculties and resources to instead become educated and secure some big investment wins and expand your means. Now, what about living within your means? Well, I think there's a little something to be said for that. I'm not completely on board. I guess you could just live within your means, but expand at the same time and then live within that new expansion. I'm a little bit more on board with live within your means sometimes, but certainly not live below your means. You'll hear expand your means mindset woven through all nearly 400 episodes of the Get Rich Education podcast, where I release a new show every Monday. If you like thinking this way, and especially if you like thinking this way and applying it to investing, give me a listen there. So just consider not telling anyone to live below their means. It builds these brick walls around people, and people can often end up with regret and settling for less when they really didn't have to. In fact, living below your means is the most dreadful common advice that I've ever heard. I'm Keith Weinhold. Thanks so much for being here, but you weren't here for me. You were here for you. We'll see you in the next video.
People say live below your means.
Below your means?
And Bassick deals.
That's like Bonds bunting. That's like Brady retiring after college. Or Beyonce quitting after Destiny's Child. That's like flying all the way to the moon without walking around on it. That would be like Enter the Wu-Tang 3 chambers, or the perfect triple axel without sticking it. Expand your means.